Shalom, shalom. Kal halalim la banawa Yahweh, Alahaynawa Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shema Yasharala Yahweh Alahaynawa Yahweh Achad. Shema Yasharala Yahweh Alahaynawa Yahweh Achad. Shema Yasharala Yahweh Alahaynawa Yahweh Achad. Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3, wherever they are scattered to the four corners of the earth. I just want to go into a quick video of the purpose of marriage, and why there's a necessity, and the fact that the Lord doesn't like false balances. The Lord likes an equal balance, Example, you're in the playground and you're on one of them seesaw things, where you got one child on one side and you got another child on the other side, and they're bouncing up and down, you know, they're on a seesaw. Now, if one child is 250 pounds and the other child is 130, there's an unequal balance. Now, in a spiritual sense, there's an unequal balance where, you watch these old Ricky Lake shows, and that Amalekite wench, Ricky Lake, is going to pay for what she's done, promoting homosexuality and promoting this independent woman thing. All right. And promoting the fact that a man should cook and clean for himself, even though he has a wife. Now, husband and wife should mutually respect each other. It doesn't mean that you smack your wife around. It just means that the man has a specific role and a woman has a specific role. Now, if a woman equally works as well, she works 40 hours a week or more, just like the man, then I would suggest that, there has to be some kind of harmonious way to keep the relationship on a level where there's a balance. Like all the heavy duty work around the house, the husband does, or the light work, the woman does. The children, you take care of, you help each other, right? That's because we're in this hell, all right? But in an ideal world, right? Okay, and even if you're in that situation where you got to do like a BS 50-50 thing, the man still has a final say. The woman can give a little bit of an insight into a situation, but the man has a final say, okay? The Israelite man. Now, you have... otherwise, if a woman is at home, she's taking care of the children, right? And all these kinds of things. The woman, if she's taking care of the children, which isn't an easy task at all, I understand that. A lot of us have been single fathers and we've raised our children. We got help with the help of grandparents and things like that. So I understand that, okay? All right. But if the man's going out to work, right, bringing home the bread, taking care of the household, doing all the maintenance of the house, the fixing of the car, and all you have to do is raise the children. Obviously, he's going to take a significant hand in the children as well, rearing of the children, because he's a father. Discipline needs to be handed out righteously, of course. And then the woman has to cook, clean, make sure the man doesn't have to worry. So when he comes home to a woman that is desirable, his wife, and she dresses up only for him. Maybe a drink in one hand. He sits down, and if he wants to not talk, leave him alone until he wants to talk to you. He'll initiate the conversation because he might have had a stressful day. Hand him a glass of water, then go and get him a drink. If he needs a drink or a beer, hand it to him. Give him a kiss on the cheek. All that kind of thing. And he has to come home to a clean house so that headache is not there. And he has to come home to a warm, cooked meal. All right? You have to be a helpmeet. There's no point getting married, like you see some of these videos online where a man works and his wife, who doesn't work, sits at home in a robe, doesn't even get dressed or showered, and she hasn't even cooked him a meal. And you think to yourself, why the F did he even get married to this woman? What is the purpose of getting married if you don't have a helpmeet? If it was just about sex, which is a big part of a marriage, right? The man can just have a girlfriend. She can just stay in her life, and they can meet up maybe once a week or 2-3 times a month, and just to do the do and keep it moving. The whole point of a marriage is to have a structure. It's like a company. You have a CEO, You have your managers, you have your employees. Okay, there's work delegated out in order of structure. You do that in a professional manner with respect, then there's a harmonious way. It's like a symphony, it comes together. All right, the same thing with a marriage. Yahweh Shemeshai has created a symphony in the marriage aspect. Okay, so there's a balance. All right, a man can't be a woman can't be a man can't dress like a woman, and a woman can't dress like a man. There's an equal balance. Okay, opposites attract. All right, so hence the reason why this masculine energy that has been emphasized and pushed on, especially the Israelite family, so-called black woman to begin with. She's only subservient to the so-called white man or a heathen man, by the way. All right. Okay, she doesn't have that ghetto attitude when she's with a so-called white man. She doesn't have that ghetto attitude when she's with an Elamite. She doesn't have that ghetto attitude when she's with an Arab or whatever, or a Chinese person, the heathens. All right. She doesn't have those ghetto attitudes when she's with Elam, Ishmael, Moab, or Ammon. All right. She only has that attitude with, the so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. All right. And that energy has been pushed where the independent woman to the left, I can do bad by myself, ain't nothing but the rent, all that kind of crap. All right, where our women have gone astray. Hence the reason why the so-called black woman is the least desired. From the ancient world where she was the most beautiful woman, right? Our Israelite women are beautiful, period. But I'm just saying the so-called black woman, the Judite woman, was okay, the most beautiful woman, along with Northern Kingdom too. But the Judite woman, because she's part of the head tribe, was the most beautiful woman. She had long hair. She was beautiful. She smelled good. Her features were beautiful. She didn't look like nowadays. You look at the so-called black woman, who's the most least desired. Yes, there's Judite women that are beautiful, all right. But for the most part, most so-called black women are not attractive. They look like Chris Eubank, you know what I mean, with a wig, you know, uh, with skin, with patchy skin tone. Their skin tone is blemished. They're fat. They smell bad, and they got a ratchet attitude. They wear the most disgusting clothes. You know, and they're known for bad hygiene. You know, Hence the reason why the so-called black man goes for women of other nations. You can see a couple here. Look at that. You got Jake here with the so-called Indian woman. All right. Well, because she's raised from an Eastern perspective where she will be subservient to her husband. She could be an Israelite. Remember, there's Israelites in the land of Elam too. There's loads of Israelites there. All right. Because I know because my family's from Northern India. Right. I know. Okay. It's on the border of was it Iran, which is Iran was Persia, and remember, Jake was in captivity in Persia. All right, and you have attractive women that look like that in the ancient world when we were slaves there. You're telling me that Jake didn't get it in, you know? All right, so there's women that are raised in the East that are, that have the understanding that the husband is the head of the household. She takes on his last name, and you're bringing forth his children. You know, And I can't stand it when a woman doesn't take on her husband's last name. Or she does that double barrel bullshit. She has her maiden name, then her husband's last name. You know? Okay? You belong to your father for a short while. Once you're married to your husband, you're Israelite man, by the way. All right? You're Israelite man. You take on him. All right? You become one flesh. How do you become one flesh? Through the act of consummating your marriage, you know, which is the for the fun part, right? You consummate the marriage. Sex constitutes marriage. All right. The man who pops your seal the first time, for you ladies, that it was meant to be your husband, but obviously, like you listen to your mother saying, "Oh yeah, you gotta try play the field or whatever," right? You're meant to be a helpmeet. You're meant to be help. That's why other nations have happy marriages, have balance, have children. Okay? A lot of you women that have that masculine attitude didn't have that growing up because you listen to your mother, your grandmother, and all that kind of thing. This is the reason why you're alone today and you're bitter. You're bitter and your body aches to have children. All right? Because it's a natural spiritual thing for a woman for her body to be caressed by a man, to be touched by her husband, you know, uh, you know, to consummate the marriage with your husband. It's a natural attraction between a man and woman. All right. And for a woman's body, it aches, all right, spiritually, and physically as well, where she desires to have children. That's what she is designed to give, bring forth the Israelite man's seed. All right, okay. Let's go to help me first. All right, help me. Right, synonyms. Okay, let's go to helpmate, sidekick, apprentice, lieutenant, aid, assistant, helper, right? Um, yeah, for example, here, his wife, the helpmeet, reminds him not to forget the sunscreen. Like, someone that needs sunscreen or whatever, That's just an example. That's the only example here. Like, for example, you know, your wife is there to do the things that you don't have to focus on, so you can focus as a man on the main parts of life, such as earning your daily bread, maintaining the house, doing all the things that make everything tick, and your wife just takes care of the meals, the children, the meals, the washing, the cleanliness of the house, so you don't have to. So there's an equal balance, so everything moves in poetry in motion, so to speak. Everything just moves in the correct direction. All right. You're supposed to be there to be a comfort to your husband. You're supposed to be there, to make your husband feel at ease. Like if he's had a bad day, you're supposed to say, babe, everything's going to be okay. All right. Okay. And to relieve his tension, okay, you're supposed to, if your children are asleep or whatever, or they, with a grandparent, they're there for a couple of days if they're on school holidays. I'm just giving examples. Initiate the good stuff. Initiate it. Take him upstairs. Relieve his tension. You know. Genesis 2:18, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him." Okay, and the Lord said, "Yeah, that's what the Lord said. There's a balance. All right. You're supposed to be a helper. You're not supposed to be, looking at other men, having wanton eyes like the so-called black woman does, or, most women these days for that matter. If you got a man, your eyes should be, if you act stuck up around other men, you know what? I don't see that as a bad thing. A woman doesn't have to be nice to every man. Just because somebody, you can say thank you, please, all that kind of thing. That's cool. But a woman doesn't have to smile at every man. All right. You women should know, the ones that have common sense. You're not supposed to do that, because if you're an attractive woman or even semi-attractive, you smile at a man's gonna think, oh shit, she likes me. I want to get some of that. You shouldn't be polite. All right, in that manner, you should be stuck up. All right. You only do these things, these extra things for your man. In this world, you just focus on your man. All right. You don't compare yourself. If you're in the truth, you don't compare your husband, right, who may not be in the truth. Okay. Okay. You don't compare him to any of the men of the Lord. You don't do that. That's wicked. All right. Your husband is your husband. And Yahweh Shemeshai has, paired you up with him to be with that man. All right. That Israelite man. All right. Now, if he doesn't believe you believe, he'll come around if it's the Lord's will. All right. Because a man can be saved. Let me go to that scripture. The man can be saved by the unbelieving. How do you spell believe? Believing woman. I think it's vice versa, isn't it? There you go. 1 Corinthians 7:14. So if you have a Brakti Habashim Ashai 11:44. If you have a husband that doesn't believe, but you believe as a wife, he's still sanctified, and vice versa. Let's go to it. 1 Corinthians 7:14. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. So there's a possibility that just by you believing and not having them comparing your husband to the men of the Lord or other teachers or whatever, and talking about your problems with other men, right? And you have common sense. You may have made that mistake, but then you were corrected through the Spirit. And you think, okay, I shouldn't do that. You got to get out of that Edomite mindset, this worldly mindset, and go back to an ancient mindset, how we used to be. All right. By being in an ancient world mindset doesn't mean that you're going to be beaten by your husband and he's going to smack you around. It means that you're going to move like a princess. You know, you're going to look like a princess. Your husband will cherish you more. Okay. You'll have, what's that word? The feminine energy. All right. Okay. Ain't gonna be no bad bitches or bad bees in the kingdom. Ain't gonna be none of that. Ain't gonna be no hot girl summer and all that. All right. That's what a lot of you women are gonna suffer, man, on this side. All right. You're gonna be deleted. And there's already videos been coming out. There's 200,000 women, and that's just on the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in America that are missing. And in the UK, it's the same number. It's right about the same number because the UK and America are connected. There's women missing here all the time. All right. You'd be surprised where they have these underground tunnels, where they are, man. You might think that it's just like an office block, but it just sits there. Nobody uses that office block, or an office, a private office. Only certain people go down that place. They open it and it's probably like all sorts of tunnels and that go like 20 feet underground or whatever. Even these basic small houses in 1948 had tunnel diggers, had tunnels underneath their synagogues where they take little children. All right. So you women need to be careful. All right. Because we're coming to a time, pursuant to the book of Jeremiah, all right? The Jeremiah 30 and 7, which is Jacob's trouble. And you women are going to suffer because you don't have that hedge. You're supposed to, if you love Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, your husband is your Lord. Your husband, the man's Lord is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai or Yahweh Shai, right? Obviously, Abanawa Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you know? That's who we worship. But you as a wife are supposed to worship your husband. And by worshiping your husband and respecting your husband like you would Yahweh Shai, you worship Yahweh Bashim Shai. That's how it works. You can't bypass your husband and treat him like shit and think that Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to look at you with pleasing eyes. That's not going to happen. So you got to get out of that mindset and be a helpmeet. All right. If it's in your lot to do so. Because there's women out there that ain't going to learn, man. All right. What was that again? 218. All right, we went 218. And the Lord Power said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. I will make him an helpmeet for him, which is a helper, which is like a so-called sidekick, which is like an assistant. And your wife is your assistant. She has work delegated that she has to do, right? And you got work that's delegated to you that you have to do as a man, right? Because there's order and structure in this world, all right? 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, as mentioned. You're supposed to worship your husband. He's your Lord. You're supposed to call him Lord. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, or Christ, they say in English. And the head of the woman is the man, all right? And the head of Hamashiach is God. So it's Abanawa Yahweh, right? Then his supreme majesty Abanawa Yahweh, Father Yahweh. Then it's Yahweh Shai. Then it's Israelite man, and then it's the woman. All right, children and so forth and so on. There's a structure. All right, there's a hierarchy. You can't bypass that hierarchy. You can't eliminate your husband and treat him like shit and not be a helpmeet and think that you're in the truth, acting all masculine, trying to teach online. You learn a few scriptures from the men of the Lord of Great Millstone, or men of Great Millstone, and then you start talking shit about them, and then this, that, and the third. A lot of you women are going to suffer, man, for opening your mouth that way, and a lot of you women have actually left the men of the Lord. All right, because a lot of some men, some of the brothers that teach on the street. I'm not mentioning any camp name, right? Men of the Lord, or some of their wives have left, man, because they didn't like what their husband was doing, and it's not going to be when that time comes, which is coming very soon. As you can see, there's turmoil across the world, across the four corners of the earth, it's not going to be good for you ladies, because you ladies are going to be alone, you know? And ain't going to be no hedge around you. You want to help meet to your husband. So what do you think? Do you think the Lord is going to be a help to you in your time of trouble? Who are you going to call upon? Huh? Shit, even Ghostbusters ain't going to help you. All right? So that time is coming, man. First Corinthians 14 and 40. Is it First Corinthians 40? Let's just... Yeah, First Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order. You know? As they say, you got to keep your house in order. If your house is in order, right, and you're going by in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, things will go in the right direction. All right? When things are done decently and in order, then you'll have good success. Success. All right? Joshua 1 and 8. This book of the law shall not depart. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Salakia. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt have Salakia. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Okay? Because if you're doing what the Lord Yahweh Shemashai says through the best of your ability, right? You're not going off. Okay? Because a just man does fall 7 times. And the man is mentioned first when a just man falls 7 times because he's the head. But obviously that applies to women too, that women, do go off sometimes. But, if you're corrected through the spirit, then the Lord is working with you. All right? And then these things will work out. All right? You're going to have your ups and downs, of course, but things will work out. You'll have success. All right? Your husband will earn his daily bread. You'll take care of the house. You'll have a roof over your head. You'll have a car to go to A to B. You'll have some clothes on your back. You'll have food and food and raiment, and water and all that, all those things. You might even have an extra few trinkets if your husband gets blessed with a really good job, while there's time. And then when all hell breaks loose, your husband will be a covering in the spirit power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. Okay? But as soon as you think about even going off, you need to rebuke Satan, man, and meditate on the scriptures and say, okay, you know what? I shouldn't behave like this. I love Yahweh Hashem Shai. I love Yahweh Shai. I've got to respect my husband as if he, because he's my Lord. If I respect Yahweh Shai and I worship Yahweh Hashem Shai, I need to respect my husband, because he's your Lord. Your husband is your Lord. If you can't respect your Lord, do you think the Most High Power and His man, you think Yahweh Hashem Shai is gonna look at you favorably? There's an order and structure. So be a helpmeet. Yeah, don't try and waver from these things. But at the end of the day, it's all up to Yahweh Hashem Shai, who is chosen, to do things right, and if it's the Lord's will, it will come through. This is the scary part because, as the scriptures say, man, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of a living power, man. You could be wearing the head wrap, wearing the long dress, even women in IUIC are doing the same thing, and there's affairs happening in IUIC allegedly, but we hear about it through the grapevine. And I'm in the UK, and we hear about it online. There's genital pictures of men that are in IUIC, genital pictures. They show their genitals, take pictures of them, and pass it on or send it over via phone digitally to married women within IUIC. But the women in the IUIC have the head wraps, the long dresses, all these kinds of things. They look, so-called holy. The men, the Israelite men, they look all holy with the beards, and they look, they look like Israelites, right? And they're wearing the garments, but they're sending, their DICK pictures to married women. You know, you can't just be looking holy on the outside, but inside you're like a gutter. You got to make sure that you do both. All right. But the main emphasis is, the main point is to make sure that you are a helpmeet, okay, to your husband. All right. Okay. You have to be a helpmeet. Comfort him so he can focus on the protection and salvation of your family, man. All right. And if your husband is knowing the truth, Abaratazar, he will come into the truth. Because remember, as mentioned, the husband is sanctified by the unbelieving wife, and the unbelieving wife, Salakia, the husband is sanctified by the belief. The husband, I'll paraphrase it. The husband is sanctified by the unbelieving wife, and the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the believing wife. Right. So if you don't believe, if your husband doesn't believe, right, but you believe, he's sanctified. You know, and if it's the Lord's will, maybe your children will get saved as well. All right. So, hey, try and do right, okay? Because we're approaching a time where it's crazy out there, man. A lot of people are falling out right, you know, at the last second before, we're going home. It's like you did all this, you were pretty much consistent, and then all of a sudden you start going off, and then the Lord could spew you out, man, and you end up going back to the vomit. So, you know, you got to be careful, man. Because we're right at the end. So, let me go to one more scripture. Husbands. Same goes for the man too. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach Yahushai, or even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it. So as you, as a woman, are supposed to love your husband like you love the Lord, and you're supposed to call your husband Lord, okay, the husband is supposed to love his wife, okay, all right? If he respects Yahweh Shem Yashai, if he loves Yahweh Shem Yashai, he's supposed to, love his woman that is trying to do right as well, and not be an a-hole, so to speak. Not, say that in a simplified term. All right, it goes both ways. It's not just all one-sided. Okay, you both have to put in the work, But we know women. This kingdom is built upon Satan's ways and putting the woman first, because even as the scriptures say, a woman shall compass a man. Hence the reason why the so-called white man gives all the brilliant jobs to so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women. And other women of color. You know, you see all these women making huge salaries and that. And they're young. They just left college and they already earn about 100K or whatever or more. And there are a lot of black and brown women, man, and so-called black women. And Jake is out there, working as a courier. Still earning decent money or whatever. But obviously they're trying to create that division because it affects a man's self-esteem you know when he can't sort of like be the main provider. But some Jakes can deal with that, because most women, even if their woman is earning more money, she doesn't have that ratchet attitude. Some women are like that are in the truth. They have husbands that are men of the Lord. Their wives earn more money than them, but they're not demonic. They actually take care of their husbands and know that their husband is the head of the household. But some women get all proud and shit. I'm a lawyer. I'm making this amount of money. My husband wasn't. He was just wanted to just be a mechanic. He wasn't trying to own his own shop or open up a chain of mechanic shops or whatever. You know, he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to take a course for this, that, and the third. He was happy with doing what he's doing. He didn't want to achieve, but you had a husband and everything, and you disrespected him, right? And then, you broke up, and then now you're just jet setting the world, and you're alone. See, that's when you go off. All right, there's got to be a mutual consensus. All right, so the man can't go off, and the woman can't go off, but the woman, because this world is built upon Satan's ways, and everything's turned upside down, and the woman is basically, made to be the above the man. A lot of these women are proud and they give hell to their husbands, man. You know, and this message is only for you ratchet evil women, okay, that have done wrong to your husbands and continue to do so. But you women that have come out of that and are actually doing good, you know, the Lord will take care of you. And the women that are continue to do good and have and are help meet and are support tower of support for their husband, you women are going to be all right if it's the Lord's will. All right. Anyway, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakakadash. Shalom.